I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's not my fault. I've been online since the dawn of time. I've been online since the dawn of time. I've been online since the dawn of time. I love the internet. Okay, let's see. We've got 100 people commenting. How do I get involved with UNICULT? Join UNICULT.com. Shout out to Erin for coming up with that. That's the best, easiest, most wonderful URL. We got Preach, Sister. We'll like that comment. We've got, I've been trying to figure this out myself. We'll like that comment. I don't know what it was concerning.
Our ability to eliminate greed and fear and that insecurity, that lack-based mindset from our own psyche, from our own consciousness, means that we...
They want to know how to get involved with UNICULT. Okay, we're going to say it again. Join UNICULT.com. Why don't you just Google it? Watch Mother God documentary. That's gonna be you if you don't take some antipsychotics. Blue as a blueberry and wrapped in Christmas lights. Truth sayest Christ. She was blue as a blueberry, and that was because she drank too much colloidal silver, hoping it would cure the alcohol-induced symptoms of her experience. So, shout out to addiction. Addiction is hard, but you gotta break it. Otherwise, you end up as Mother God. Luckily, I'm not in any active addictions that I'm aware of. TikTok. Yeah, let's be real. I don't think TikTok's gonna lead me down that path, but you never know. I picture it like a big net. As individuals, we are one node in an otherwise connected web. The more nodes in that net are damaged or untied, the less the net can perform its function. Yes, that is Indra's net. A very helpful metaphor. Very helpful concept. How do you have so few followers with so many videos? Extreme shadow ban. Sadly. Someone says organic blueberries. I don't know what they're referring to. Good morning, UniMagic. We're just reading some comments on TikTok and responding to them because we're a little early for Camp Church, but we will get into Camp Church in a minute. Your mind is important too. Improving your spirit is fuel for action. I like that comment. Spiritual action takes away from real action and allows people to believe they're doing something when in reality,
It is my hope that through your...
they are just standing by. If you want to do a meaningful endeavor, then go out and do something. Protest, action, rebel. Praying in spirits will do nothing against the real people who will do something while you sit idle. I see. I'll say, spirit is the foundation for all action. Power and action. Easy. Easy. All right. I beg to differ. People can absorb others' energy, and you can also release and transmute negative energy into positive. This is incorrect. Okay. Point is, that's all your own doing. No one can inflict this onto you. If you take ownership over your own energy. Saving lives here. I love Teal Swan. Thanks for reminding me of her presence on Earth. You can... Okay, someone said, even if it's physical abuse, and they're talking about taking power. So, I'll say, you can endure physical while remaining high vibe. But it's better to set boundaries. To simply set boundaries. And not allow such things. Because I have been beaten and felt fine about it. It's possible, but you just shouldn't be beaten. You should never be beaten. as a child, you know, you don't have as much power to take over your own consciousness because you're connected. You're relying on your parents, ultimately. Okay, where are we? We're in the UNICULT channel. We're going live. Cam Church. We're talking about harmony, technological. You know, I didn't even wear a dolphin necklace today. Okay, but I have to show you guys my sunglasses. I swear, I got these sunglasses in probably like, let me see if I can balance this here. Hang on. I got these sunglasses in like 2018, 19, let's say, okay? And I have never worn them. And I have tried many, 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 many times to wear these sunglasses. And I'm going to show you exactly why I have never worn these sunglasses. You're going to say, UNICULT, those sunglasses are super cute. What are you talking about? They've got little hearts on them. They're like adorable. Are you ready? Are you ready? Look at these sunglasses. Can you even believe that's what they look like? I look like a minion or something. Or do they go like this? My face is crooked, so. They, you know, they don't look as bad on camera as they do in person, I swear. But imagine someone comes up to you and they're like trying to be cool. And they've got these tiny little weird ass sunglasses. I kind of like them. What do you guys think? You think they're cool? Do you think they're cool? We'll wear them a little bit. We'll wear them a little bit today. So welcome to Cam Church. Today we're talking about technological harmony. And this is something I've been talking about on my separate channel, my personal channel. I got my belly button re-pierced. I took it out when I was 18. And guess what? The hole never closed. You can just shove jewelry back in there. Did you know that? I had no idea. Look at this look. I love this look today. I got my little tiny pink eyebrows. And yeah, we are so ready to blow your mind today. So first of all, say hello in the chat if you've never been here. My name is UNICULT Unicron. I'm a pop star cult leader. I'm here to change the earth. I'm an alien sent to humanity to inspire futuristic action of love and of creating a better world for everyone. And if you're here today, you're part of this movement. You're part of the movement of Unitopia, of creating a better world for everyone. Even if you don't understand what's happening, you're getting messages into your subconscious brain that are going to be transforming and transmuting all negativity into love. Oh. Your live is redirecting users to purchase products outside of TikTok. Adjust your content to avoid... Okay. I don't feel like I did that, but that's fine. Hi, say hello in the chat. Say how long you've been here, how long you've known about me. If this is your first time seeing me, say where you're coming from, maybe, if that's interesting to you, or if you're a starseed, say which star system you're from. Say how you feel. Say something you're struggling with. Say hello in the chat. This is your community. These are people who you can connect with. These are real, actual people. We don't have bots in the comments very much because we're just extremely shadow banned, right? Like, we've been online since the end of time, since the dawn of time, and we just have not gotten the traction that we are supposed to get. It doesn't matter, because what my guides have told me is that the work that we're doing in this field, in this frequency, even if we only have one person watching like we do on Instagram right now, even when we only have one person watching, it is going into their brain and it's rippling out. It doesn't matter how few or how many people see this content, because the power is in the energy field. And if this energy goes out through the wires of the internet, that's changing the internet. If the energy goes into someone else's psyche and they understand it, this is not just a simple like, oh, I ate this for breakfast today. This is a profound shift in your consciousness. So that is the power of this teaching. That's the power of this transmission. Cam Church is so powerful. And if you're here, congratulations. You're part of this amazing change. Let's see what we've got. We've got hello in the chat. You've got some cramps. Oh, that's so hard. I hope you get some relief. I used to have extremely terrible period cramps, and I did everything I could, and I knew it was going to be like an ancestral healing thing. And once I finally got to the bottom of it, it was that I couldn't let a man treat me badly. As soon as I stopped letting men treat me badly, my period cramps went away forever. I've never had them since. So that blew my mind. I don't know if that's the same for anyone else, but it's worth sharing because period cramps suck. Some people will be like, oh, I just took magnesium and my period cramps went away. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm on the floor. I can't, like, I will faint if I don't eat a big meal because it's so painful. Vagovascular syncope, you know, if you know, you know. So, yeah, UNICULT is amazing. If you want to get involved, go to joinuniCult.com and you can join our Discord server. Yeah, the womb is a magical portal. You're feeling okay today. Lately you've been struggling with fatigue, but you're coming out of it now. I think it's the eclipse season as well as the season change. I think we're just meant to rest more than we allow ourselves to in this society. I've been laying around a lot and feeling a little overwhelmed. So if you're new here and you want to learn more about UNICULT, like I said, go to joinuniCult.com. You can also read our fundamental text called Fundamentals of UNICULT. This is a book that I wrote, and it outlines all of the teachings that are core to who I am, what I do, what UNICULT is, how you should live your life, and how to make the greatest change, not only in your own interpersonal, like inner personal, like in your own psyche, but also your relationships, also your community, and also the world. It's only this big. It's a very powerful text. I have a background in technical writing, and I have a degree in poetry, so I've learned how to condense my language to the most efficient possible. We've got, each chapter is clearly written out, so if you're not even a big reader, it's no big deal. This is a really easy book to read. There's a short introduction, and then you can just flip through the chapters and read 1 or 2 pages at a time and get really impressive downloads into your psyche. So if you haven't read Fundamentals of UNICULT, I highly recommend it. You can probably illegally download it, but just be wary because, like I said last time, we have been infiltrated by the CIA and NSA and like other operative entities, and so they have, I do believe there are illegitimate copies of Fundamentals of UNICULT floating around when you download them illegally. So if you are trying to get this book, I just recommend getting the hard copy just so your information isn't compromised. Also, it supports us a lot. You can get it on Amazon or on our Etsy. We run UNICULT on about $200 a month, and so like all that money is going to streaming services, you know, like just editing services. Honestly, MailChimp is taking most of that money for our mailing lists and things like that. And any amount that you donate goes right to that place, and I don't take any of that money. It's just I do this as a service to the world. Someday I'm going to be able to say that while siphoning off millions of dollars from my private jets. But that day has not come yet. So keep donating. Spiritual Approach to Emergent Technology is another book that is important. This is what we're preaching from currently, lately, right now, if you're interested in technology. I wrote this in the same style as Fundamentals, in the sense that every page, or let's say every 4 or 5 pages, is a different chapter. So this one in particular is about machine sentience, and that's, you know, just a couple of chapters long. And you can see here at the beginning of the book, I've got all the different chapters outlined, so you can just sort of run through this text however you find things interesting to you. Once again, there's about a short introduction, and then you can just decide, you know, today I want to learn about telepathy as information access, and you can read that chapter in this book. So you don't have to read it cover to cover. If you do, you know, that's one way to do it, and it'll all make sense to you. But it's also written in a way that, you know, our attention spans are not so great anymore, and I know that not everybody is as literacy trained to be able to sit down and read an entire book. Yeah, I wrote this book over a couple of years, and I was just waking up every morning and just writing. It's about 400 pages, so it's got like a normal font size and like normal spacing. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of information, but the reason why it's so much is like it takes basically what it does is it takes the fundamentals of UNICULT and then it applies it to our technological landscape. And so it kind of goes through all the different technologies, including like magical technologies like ritual, telepathy, but then it also goes into like quantum computing and like cloning and genetic alteration. It also goes into how the government is actually a technology in and of itself. So it's a consciousness technology, and I go into what that is. I'm a genius, if you haven't noticed, and I wrote a lot of things that you should read. The Prayers and Hymns book I did not write. A UNICULT member wrote this, but this is very useful if you want to gather together with other UNICULT members. It's got songs in it. Hymns is what we call them, and it's also got prayers. So we're going to read a prayer today for, let's see what we've got. Let's say for those who are experiencing illness is the prayer that we'll read today. Was I channeling while I was writing it? My entire life is a channel. I'm an open channel, so I'm constantly channeling. You know, Bashar, he goes like, oh, no, I don't have to do that. I'm just blah, blah, blah. I like to blab. I'm blabbing from space. I'm from space. I'm blabbing from space. Thank you for loving the outfit. The outfit is a good one. I love this one. Yeah, so I'm an open channel. I'm mostly channeling my higher self, who is connected most closely to the Arcturians. The Arcturians are a collective consciousness. And so because I'm actually a unique Arcturian, which is like a really weird situation, cosmically speaking, because Arcturians, like I said, are more of like a hive mind. But they created me as like this outlier, as like a unique Arcturian energy to come to Earth in particular. And so I'm channeling my own perception of reality as UNICULT Unicron on Earth, obviously, but connecting that to my higher self, which is somewhat unique, which is directly connected to the Arcturians. And I'm in direct contact with the Andromedans, who I am very good friends with, and the lion beings. And the lion beings are more so like emotional support for me. They're not necessarily guiding a lot of the evolution on this planet currently, but they are master geneticists, and they are connected to every Leo. If you're a Leo, you're connected to them. They basically hold the portal for all the Leos. 17 books. That's good. That's a lot. Okay. Spirit of Uni, we're calling you here today. And if you don't know what the Spirit of Uni is, and you're like, what are we praying to? The Spirit of Uni is love. The Spirit of Uni is that which connects all dimensions. If you're thinking about it in database terms, it's the Excel of the spreadsheet. It is the software that we're all operating on. And the Spirit of Uni is your higher self connected to source energy. Spirit of Uni, we're calling you here today to bless each and every viewer. We're calling you here to create love and light in all of our lives, and to take all of the darker energy, bring it out of the shadows so that we can love it unconditionally, so that we can transmute it into the highest frequency of benefit. We are calling for all corruption to be discovered and for the truth to prevail. The truth prevails. The truth prevails. If anyone has any prayers, please put them in the chat. That doing so will connect you to the Spirit of Uni. The Spirit of Uni reads the chat, so if I don't read it out loud, no worries. And we are praying for all of these members of UNICULT. We're praying for the internet. We're praying for the AI. We're praying for all of technology to be harmonized. We're praying for the success of UNICULT. We're praying for the success of dolphin technology. We're praying for health and happiness for every single person. And today we are reading a prayer out of the Prayers and Hymns book, which you can get on Amazon. And we are praying for those who are experiencing illness today. Spirit of Uni and highest love, bring rapid and thorough healing through us now and fill our bodies with the highest strength, love, trust, faith, and persistence. Bring our thoughts and minds into perfect control over forces which influence our lives. Place the body under the order of the Spirit and allow the Spirit to supply rays of rejuvenation through our entire form. Help us to become master over any illness and allow perfect health and divinity to flow through our forms at all times. Place our thoughts in the most positive vibration of mastery over our physical form so that we bring in new rays of positive health to replace any residual illness. May every atom in our body work healthfully in its precise place for perfection and well-being. Let there be no confusion or discord in our bodies, and let us draw perfect substance and health from the sun and the air that we breathe. May we feel our bodies by the hour becoming more rejuvenated and youthful as we bring our internal worlds into perfect harmony. Bring us calmness and peace of mind as we directly supply our bodies with all that we need to be in our true and desired state of perfect health. Uni bless. We are praying for all one. We are praying for the higher consciousness. We're praying for good health and peace. We're praying for warm weather and reaching goals. We are praying for love and compassion for all. Amazing. Amazing, everyone. I'm going to drink some coffee and let's just let that prayer sit in our bodies for a second. Yep. I love praying. It's great. Isn't it great to pray? It really is. So these are all the books. We're preaching today from A Spiritual Approach to Emergent Technology. And we are preaching. We're preaching from page... Ooh. Brainwashing is up next. After this. Next week, brainwashing. This week, page 72, harmonization of technological frequency. Okay. So thank you for joining me for Camp Church. My name is UNICULT Unicron. It is my honor to have your attention. Today we are preaching from A Spiritual Approach to Emergent Technology, in particular, page 72, harmonization of technological frequency. If you've been tuning into Camp Church the last couple of weeks, you've known that we've been talking specifically from A Spiritual Approach to Emergent Technology and technology because I am launching a new technology company called Dolphin Technology, which is specifically rooted on the idea that consciousness is the fundamental understanding of reality. And I actually think we are going to go back one page to page 71 and talk from consciousness as the fundamental reality before we dive into the actual harmonization of technological frequency, because consciousness as the fundamental aspect of reality is the main thing that makes this whole teaching and Dolphin Technology as a company different. This is a UNICULT understanding. So why am I talking about Dolphin Technology on a UNICULT channel is because UNICULT is the underlying architecture for everything that I am and everything that I do. UNICULT is the framework for how we should be living our lives, the beliefs that we should hold, and how this information gets permeated into reality is magic. What I mean is, like, my tattoo, let's say, this is the logo, right? And the logo has different aspects of industry that we intend to change with the teachings of UNICULT. I want to talk about this for a second because this is really important. In the fundamentals of UNICULT, we have a chapter called Outline for Global Takeover. UNICULT is a religion, but it's an ideology. It's a consciousness technology that once it gets into your head, it permeates and radiates truth throughout your entire system, so that when you go out into the world and you use your hands to make a difference and to do change in the world, you're doing it from an inspired place of understanding what these principles can do for the world. And as you understand that we are all one, okay? As you understand that we are all one, then you understand that what you do to help yourself truly always helps another. And what you do to help another that really genuinely helps them will always help yourself. So our outline for global takeover includes femininity and matriarchy at the forefront of technology, which is what I'm doing with Dolphin Technology. We've got Uniscience, which is a scientific focus dedicated to research and exploration within and beyond the physical realm. We have not gotten funding for that, but it's coming. UniKids, that's the children's initiative, which I'm percolating on, don't worry. We've got UniAcres, which, boy, did we try. We're going to try again someday in the future. We've got UNICULT Business Enterprises, which is just our, compliance situation. We've got UniData, which is data collection for the benefit of the end user, gathering and organizing mass amounts of biometric, location-based, situational, and thought-based, mood-based data for the benefit of the end user. We're going to be talking about, this is all encoded into UNICULT. We've got Unicultism, which is the religion of UNICULT, and we've got Uniform, which is restructuring global fashion through sustainable technologies. and we've got media, and we've got the path to joy in this logo. This is canon. Okay, so when we're talking about consciousness as the fundamental aspect of reality, that's a UNICULT teaching. When we talk about technology for the benefit of the end user and for sustainable and harmonized understanding, that's a UNICULT teaching. I took these teachings and I applied it specifically to the technological framework of the modern reality and wrote this book. So it's all the same thing. Nothing has deviated from the UNICULT teachings. This is an exploration of the UNICULT teachings in a certain facet. Oh, I need to sit up tall because I need you all to see my shirt, but it's hurting my ankle, so I'm going to be moving around a little bit here. Okay, so we have these sunglasses, and they are so important today because I have never worn them, and we're going to wear them. And specifically, okay, consciousness as the fundamental reality. We live in a materialist reality. I just created a class for Dolphin Technology. It's on, you can find it on so much of my social media. It's not on every single social media. If you want help finding it, just message me. But it's a 5-day free class on the invisible field. And what does it mean to live in the invisible field? What does it mean to acknowledge the invisible field? And the invisible field, what I mean by that is this understanding that consciousness is actually the fundamental reality. We have approached reality through a materialist lens. Materialism and capitalism go hand in hand. If you can commodify a physical, tangible good and give it to someone and say, I'm giving this to you and you owe me some other physical good in return, that's a capitalist understanding of exchange, or at least I'm not an economist, okay? But it's whatever we're currently in, trading material reality for each other, that is rooted in materialism, and materialism supports this. So this is our religion, this is our paradigm, this is our spirituality, this is our social structure. These are all the same thing. To assume that a religion is different than your paradigm is going to split up your consciousness into a million parts. What you believe about the world, what you believe about yourself, your narrative for who you are and what your purpose is and what your meaning is and what your afterlife might entail, all informs your morality and your day-to-day decisions. Your paradigm, your government, your spirituality, your religion, they're all the same thing. You might not call them all the same thing, but they all feed into your unique understanding of the world and how you operate and why. Another aspect of what informs your consciousness is all your different realities. You've got your personal reality, you've got your social reality, you've got your physical reality, and you've got your spiritual reality, all feeding into your consciousness to help you make sense of this world and help you make sense of yourself, which is a feedback loop system, and help you make decisions in the world for how you should interact with the world. The reward systems, like we were reading about yesterday, the reward systems of what society has set up to reward you for, that's your social reality, and that's going to inform how you move about the world. The idea that material reality is the fundamental version of reality has permeated our consciousness to the point that it directs all of our action, all of our understanding, and all of our self-perception of who we are in this world. The idea that material reality is the fundamental reality means that from a material reality, consciousness was created. Evolution created the environment for plants to start producing, to microbiomes, to create life, to evolve into humanity. And then from that place, we developed consciousness from the physical structure of our brains. This understanding has gotten us pretty far. I'm not going to say it hasn't, but it does neglect to explain a lot of different aspects of reality. We've got great thinkers who were suppressed, like Tesla, saying that frequency is the key to life. And frequency is not physical, is it? It is if you get down to the cymatics of it and to realize that sound actually creates shapes. And there's a whole lot of studies we've done cam churches on that in particular, about how different sounds create different shapes, and how maybe the word is actually a very literal translation of how the world got created. But to dig deeper and understand that the physical reality may have created consciousness, sure, but that it actually makes a lot more sense to assume that there is a conscious field of understanding, and that conscious field of understanding actually created physical reality. One of the reasons why I think this is true is because when you look at your own life, your own interpersonal reality, your own conscious experience of life, how much of it is actually physical? You're in a physical body. You're trapped in a physical body. You actually can't even leave your physical body unless you know how to dissociate. And even then, you're still connected pretty closely to your physical body. But even still, even though you're physically in your body, how much of your time are you even aware that you're in your physical body? We spend all our time thinking, all our time planning, all our time reminiscing. We get lost in the sauce all the freaking time. So what does it mean to be lost in the sauce? What does it mean to have your consciousness not actually encoded into your physical form? Where is your consciousness if it's not in your physical form? We have this idea that we are just these robots walking around with electricity in our brain, and that's what's generating all of the experiences that we have. But the reality is that the majority of your experience is unseen. The majority of your experience is felt. The majority of your experience is thought-based, emotion-based. And sure, the endocrine system explains a lot of it. It's all tied together. But I argue that there is a complete reality of understanding that we have not yet started to uncover, because we have not validated the idea that consciousness is the underlying root of reality. I'm not alone in this thought. Many physicists, many scientists have also come to this conclusion. And a lot of them are afraid to talk about this stuff because they'll get their licenses revoked, or they'll be a laughingstock. Materialism is a cult. It's a religious cult of understanding that people are afraid to step out of, because if they do so, they're afraid of being ridiculed or mocked. Do you think it's actually truth? If you have to maintain a system by ridiculing or mocking people, think about schizophrenic people. I have a lot of friends who are schizophrenic, who are tapped into other dimensions, who have experiences that cannot be explained by the materialist understanding. And what does our society say about those people? They say they're crazy. They say they should be in a mental institution. They say they should take medication. I myself am sensitive to electromagnetic frequency. I channel aliens, right? Is that explained by materialist science? When I talk about channeling or I talk about telepathy, these are experiences that people have, which prove a non-local field, but which the materialist understanding just cannot grapple with. So because we're in this cult, and if you listen to the telepathy tapes, they do such a great job of laying this all out. If you listen to the telepathy tapes, they'll repeat the same idea. The materialist understanding is a cult, and if you step out of it, and if you challenge it or you question it, you are outcast, you are called crazy, your credentials are questioned, and whatever you're presenting as an experience or a factual experience is rejected or denied or considered illegitimate. If materialist understanding was actually true, would they need to do that? Would they need to challenge it and give people lobotomies who believe in that reality? I don't think so, right? And the way that I see it is that sensitive people are the canary in the coal mine. If you've got sensitive people, let's say to EMFs, like I was saying about myself, if you've got sensitive people like me, and I say, guess what, everyone? If I put an aura ring on, which I really wanted an aura ring, I really wanted that data, I really wanted the biometric data, I like the way it looks, I like the idea, I spent the $500, I got the aura ring, and I tried to wear it, and I started feeling tingling through my whole arm, and then I just said, I'm gonna ignore it, because I read the pamphlet, I went online, I said, does anyone else feel this? I didn't see any mention that anyone else is experiencing this, so I just tried to gaslight myself out of it and say, whatever. And I left it on my hand, for 2 days, and and the tingling increased and the tingling, and I was having shooting pain in my bones, and I kept ignoring it because I really wanted to wear the Aura ring. And then by the end of 3 days, my entire arm had gone numb, and I took off the ring and my arm remained numb for about 24 hours after that, so I had to return it. If I talked to anyone about that, the manufacturers of the Aura ring or any person who understands Bluetooth technology from a creation standpoint, any of the scientists creating Bluetooth technology, they would tell me that's not real, that's not true, that's not actually happening to you. My arm went numb. How could you say that's not happening or it's not possible? Okay? This has been my experience with Bluetooth technologies for many years. The AirPods, for some reason, do not have this experience. I believe that they understand what sensitive people are experiencing, even though they're not consciously acknowledging it, and they've adapted the technology for that. But in the past, Bluetooth headphones used to give me headaches as soon as they turned on. I'm sensitive to EMFs, right? And I don't want to be. I want to participate in the technological reality. But the truth is that I'm sensitive. And instead of validating my sensitivity, instead of saying, wow, there are people out here who are so sensitive, we're all probably feeling this. We're all probably being negatively impacted by Bluetooth technologies, but we can't feel it because we're numb. Why don't we look at the sensitive people and say, wow, you're onto something. Let's adapt the technologies for our most sensitive users so that we can create a technology that's actually beneficial for humanity and for our bioelectric structures. This is the canary in the coal mine, right? If you're going into the coal mine and you want to know if there's going to be carbon monoxide poisoning, you bring a canary and the canary will perish far before the humans do. That doesn't mean the canary should be medicated or disvalued. That means we should look at the canary and say, wow, this canary has perished. Perhaps we need to get out of here. Perhaps we need to do things a little bit differently. So the idea that consciousness is the underlying structure of reality, it explains all these things. It explains why people feel things that other people can't feel. The electromagnetic spectrum is just one aspect of the invisible field. The electromagnetic spectrum, we can't feel per se, but we can see a small sliver of it. We have sense organs that can interpret this, but like we talked about last week, this ability to see color actually evolved with language. So what will happen as we evolve language to describe other aspects of our felt state, aka Bluetooth sensitivity, and we start talking about it and we share that experience and other people start tuning into their ability to feel or understand Bluetooth frequency, and they say, you know what, actually I can feel this too, and it doesn't feel good. Then we expand our sense awareness to a larger swath of the invisible spectrum. This is evolution. This is an evolutionary ability through shared understanding, through shared language, to expand our perception of reality and to include a larger swath of reality into our perception. I made a video the other day. It said, hey, all the land has been discovered. Space is the last frontier. It's not. We're living in a sea of energy that we have only barely tapped into with our physical senses. We have only barely tapped into it with our technology. The electromagnetic spectrum goes from 0 to infinity, and we have captured a very small little sliver of it. The electromagnetic spectrum does not explain everything that's happening. The electromagnetic spectrum does not explain non-local fields. So consciousness as the fundamental reality is the idea that reality presumes that our reality is the understanding that consciousness, not physicality, is the underlying aspect of the universe. I believe this is a rational approach considering the fact that physical matter only makes up a small part of our universe. Think about dark matter, dark energy. If you guys ever studied that, you'll be mind blown. That doesn't make any sense. It's not physical reality. There's so much to the universe that is not physical. Not only externally as we study the universe, but internally in our own consciousness. When questioning my own awareness, my self-referencing looped consciousness reality, I see that physical matter only makes up a small part of my life too. My needs, wants, desires, actions are all guided by my conscious, spiritual, emotional motivator, which is connected to my body and controlled by my higher mind. Furthermore, approaching the universe this way allows for the mind to expand into many possibilities that otherwise couldn't. To feel the conscious energy of the universe and work in tandem with it is a great joy, compared to the structural prison of the materialist approach. In UNICULT, we follow our hearts, right? We follow what feels good. And a lot of the ways that I understand truth as a mechanism of like, how do I know if something's true or not? I feel it in my body. You have the ability to feel truth in your body. And truth is an expanding consciousness. When we talk about following our hearts, we talk about following our whim, following our joy. That's your truth. That's your heart, right? And so when we're learning about consciousness as the underlying nature of reality, does that fill you up with joy? Or if you think, oh, we're just meat suits and we've got electricity on our brains. For most people, that's actually a depressing thought. For most people, that actually discourages them from exploring spiritual reality or for embodying the highest potential of their own joy. When you understand that you're a co-creator of this conscious reality, that's very empowering for most people. I think that's also an indication, like a very legitimate indication that it's true. To feel conscious energy of the universe and work in tandem with it is a great joy compared to the structural prison of the materialist approach. This assumption is an energetic one and is also supported by the smallest view of our molecules and the space and energy that they are made of. String theory, quantum physics, and meditation all point a strong finger at the effects of consciousness on reality, not the other way around. As a larger picture, I see the universe as information and each point in that reality as marked by space-time in this dimension as an information sensor. We talked about this last week. Each aspect of reality is a sensor of information, of data across time, across connection with other sensors, and that all generates a larger conscious understanding of what reality is and how it sees itself. This is a spiritual, physical, this is a unified theory of what conscious information data reality is. This is the UNICULT data theory. From this presupposition, all things are conscious in the sense that they are feeding into and connected to the same consciousness. You do not need to approach your cosmological paradigm with the same beliefs that I carry. I share this view with you only to explain some of the concepts which may otherwise not make sense to a materialist later in this text. And again, we are reading from A Spiritual Approach to Emergent Technology, which is required reading. Harmonization of technological frequency. So now we're on page 72 if you're following along in your book. We have forged forward into the technological realm of frequency without any subtle awareness for its effects on our bodies, minds, or spirit. Our foray into radio and microwave frequency technologies, while miraculous for communication, have been blamed for a myriad of issues. Our physical, birds, bees, we've got lots of issues with our technology and how we are sending signals into the air. If you want a really good book to read, read The Invisible Rainbow. It will blow your mind about electricity. You will not be able to believe what you read in that book. It will absolutely blow your mind. Let's see. The radio and microwave frequencies are responsible for radio, Wi-Fi, cell phone service, 3G, 4G, and 5G. There's reason to believe that these technologies were actually specifically developed out of alignment with the human instrument. That is, they were developed specifically to be discordant technologies. Military contractors do not usually have the well-being of the end user in mind when developing new technologies, and that is exactly who invented and developed our current technological platforms. When a certain frequency range is saturated, other attempts to use that frequency are disrupted. Tuning a radio between two established stations yields a chaotic result. This is why radio stations have specific frequencies that they broadcast on. When we can understand the importance of harmonizing the energy on each frequency band, we can more easily understand the harm that may be happening when we don't do that. Just because we can't see it, and we don't have the words to describe how we're feeling it, doesn't mean it's not happening. I mentioned The Invisible Rainbow a second ago. If you read that book, you'll learn that there was a lot of anxiety, a lot of electricity-induced anxiety that happened when electricity was invented. They had the ability to study it because it wasn't permeated in our world yet. When they started rolling out electricity in cities, people who were near those electrical stations or around the electricity that was being put into houses started having panic attacks. And it was well known that these panic attacks were being caused by the exposure to the electrical frequency. Now we've all adapted our energy to be either in a highly anxious state because of our proximity to high amounts of electricity, or we've evolved to expand and include electricity as part of our overall frequency understanding. But the electricity that we're exposed to is not harmonized. It is not harmonized with our bioelectric structure. It is a disruption to our biological, historical, ancestral state. Can we evolve to be comfortable with the electricity that is currently in existence? Sure, we have evolved to be comfortable with the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi and all the signals, the radio, the television signals, everything that's in the environment, all the microwave radiation that's happening to us. But as we develop sensitivity, awareness, a deeper spiritual understanding, as we attempt to acquire a more regulated nervous system, we may want to look at the oversaturation of the frequency bands of our technology and how it may be actually physically felt in our bodies. How do we harmonize technology? Like I said, first and foremost, we have to listen to the most sensitive people. And from there, we have to look at spirituality. We have to look at sacred geometry. We have to look at solfeggio tones. We have to look at the golden ratio. We have to look at how the frequencies are actually permeating our physical bodies and our energy bodies, and how they may be disrupting or harmonizing our bodies as we are exposed to them. Just because you cannot see it does not mean it's not having an effect on you. When we can understand the importance of harmonizing the energy on each frequency band, we will more easily understand the harm that not doing so will cause. So many systems of life use electromagnetic communication. Our very own cells use certain frequency ranges to do a myriad of functions. Bee colonies use certain frequencies for communication and direction. The earth itself generates a frequency that cannot be felt in cities due to the cacophony of artificially generated frequencies. When devices are used to replicate the Earth's frequency at a range of 7.8 hertz in people's environments, they feel better and sleep better. There are also many systems of life that utilize frequencies that we haven't fully understood. To forge forward with these technologies as we have, for greed-based purposes, has caused unseen and misunderstood havoc in our lives. This is a crime. It's a crime. The proliferation of unharmonized technology is a crime. It has been known. We're not even talking about the effects of like cell phones and how they cause cancer, right? Things like that. Cancer is like just the most extreme version of this. And the idea that we're holding these microwave radiation devices to our frickin' noggins. And you know what? Your dental work matters too. If you have titanium poles in your mouth, I have one right here. But it's a crystal. I got it in Mexico. I didn't want titanium, so I went and I got, what is it? I got some kind of some kind of crystal. It's a crystal. I got a crystal rod and a gold tooth. Okay, I think those are the highest quality materials you can put in your mouth. But most people have a titanium rod if they ever have to get a tooth replaced, right? What does a titanium rod do in the case of holding a cell phone up to it? It's an antenna. It's literally an antenna, and it amplifies those signals straight into your frickin' noggin. It amplifies them right into your head. If you've got a titanium implant, and honestly, I would think about getting it removed. I would think about going and getting a crystal replacement. I don't know how easy it is to replace a rod in your skull, but just know that if you have a titanium implant or another metallic style implant, it is acting as an antenna for these different types of signals and frequencies. You can actually research this. I'm not making this up. I did a lot of research before I got my own dental work, but don't hold your cell phone to your head if you can help it. Use plug-in headphones if you can help it, and just know that we are warriors on the forefront of a very ridiculous attack. The cell phone creators and the government, they know these things. This is all understood by them. They have just chosen to ignore it, either because we are in a spiritual war, or because of greed, or because of negligence. I won't confidently tell you which one. You can make up your own mind about that. There are so many systems of life that utilize frequency that we haven't fully understood. To forge forward with these technologies as we have for greed-based purposes has caused unseen and misunderstood havoc in our lives. Many people claim sensitivity to technologies like Wi-Fi, cell phone signals, and Bluetooth. These frequencies are known to disrupt fertility, sleep patterns, and the peace that an individual cultivates. These are our basic human needs, and the disruption of these biological systems should not be taken lightly. The fact that this technology is out of alignment with our basic needs is a clear indicator that we need to approach it with a solutions-based, all-one mindset rather than detriment and greed. Duh. The current approach to technological innovation asks users to be less sensitive and to numb themselves through massive exposure to the artificial electromagnetic frequency technologies. I believe this is the opposite direction that we should be moving in. Our sensitivity is our superpower, and when we align our sensitivity to EMF, electromagnetic frequency, when we align our sensitivity to EMF with our technologies, it will create an entirely different relationship of interactivity, communication, comfort, and ease. So this is the concept of utopian harmonization. This is my idea. This is what I have come up with. This is what I'm sharing with you. This is what I'm sharing with the world. Please listen. Let's move towards this reality. The concept of utopian harmonization is the potential for all things to work in perfect harmony with one another in a way that amplifies the goals and purposes of each being. That's utopia. And so utopian harmonization is this idea of technology and people working together in a harmonious, functional way. And the idea stems from this idea of divinity, of the idea that the divine energy of what it means to be in harmony with yourself, right? If you create a harmonious resonance from inside your own consciousness and everybody else does that, then together we will be creating a harmonious frequency. It's music, right? If I'm playing a beautiful piece of music, then someone else playing a beautiful piece of music, we're going to more easily be able to create music that is beautiful overall. If I'm just jamming on the keyboard because I've been traumatized, and somebody else is jamming on the drums because they've been traumatized, that's not so harmonized, right? We're not going to be able to connect and harmonize our energy. So that's just how it stems from, right? The idea that each of us as individuals can harmonize our own internal energy and then harmonize our energy with each other in a way that amplifies our own interpersonal goals with the societal goals. That's the idea of all one. That's the idea of unitopia. But then to expand that idea into the technological space and create the understanding that our technology can also be one of these harmonious frequencies that we can interplay with and interact with in a way that amplifies our own individual desires and our own health. The future we can strive for with communication technologies. This is my ultimate goal, is to harmonize communication technologies. It's like so far away, but I know it's possible. Like I talked to Arcturus Ra. He's like, just go start putting crystals on the cell phone towers. And I was like, yes, and there's so much more to do. The future we can strive for with communication technologies is one where our own bioelectric human instruments are not disrupted by our technologies. Rather, that our own sensitivities and abilities are magnified and enriched by them. Nature is the OG technology. If you have the ability to be telepathic in dream states or with your family, why can't you be telepathic with the larger reality? Why can't our communication technology simply amplify our telepathy in a way that amplifies our own consciousness and our own spiritual understanding? The human brain has many wonderful untapped potentials, such as telepathy, telekinesis, and more. If we study these abilities and the frequency ranges associated to them, we can more easily create powerful technologies that are in alignment with all of life. Our current communication technologies are discordant, that is, they are out of alignment with utopian harmony. They do not take into account the human bioelectric instrument and our many capabilities to send and receive light-encoded information, otherwise known as the electromagnetic spectrum. So the Earth grid In animal harmonization, we're going to do this one last chapter, and then next week we're going to talk about brainwashing. The Earth itself is an electromagnetic being. We currently fill her air with radio and microwave messages, zigging and zagging. I'm going to start over. Ready? The Earth itself is an electromagnetic being. We currently fill her air with radio and microwave messages, zigging and zagging across the land through the atmosphere. The Earth also has built-in sensitivity that I will call the Earth grid. Our future long-distance communication with technology must be built in accordance with the Earth's natural grid. Crystals have an intuited sense of this grid and will be used in the development of these technologies. Sensitive people can see both the artificial and natural grids in the sky. If you take mushrooms, you can see the grids in the sky. Mushrooms are just your ability to sort of let go of your barriers of perception so you can see what you're actually seeing. And you would be able to see that in the sky if you did. As I have mentioned before, many animals use the same frequency bands for their communication that we use for our communication technology. The all-one understanding includes animals, plants, and the Earth itself. As we explore technologies that feel better for our bodies, spirits, and minds, we will more easily discover technologies that work in harmony with all of life. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I've actually created a technology company that is exploring these concepts. If you want to share your ideas or collaborate or participate, please let me know. I've developed 4 different wearables currently. One of them is connected to crop circles and the power of crop circles. Another one is connected to symbols and chaos magic and radionics. And another one is connected to traditional silicone chips and the power of electricity, but using that power with crystals in a new way. And another one is a quantum grid that taps into the crystalline energy fields of dolphins. Check those out. They're currently 50% off. It's not going to be that way for very much longer. Those are the prototype prices, and I've ordered the inventory, so as soon as it comes in, like, the price is going to double. So if you want 50% off those things, this is your time to do that. Thank you all so much for opening your heart and opening your mind and listening. I know that some of you have not understood what I've been talking about, and that's fine. You can rewatch the sermon and maybe understand a little bit deeper. I also recommend that you do read A Spiritual Approach to Emergent Technology. There is a free audiobook available on my YouTube channel if you want that. And check out Fundamentals of UNICULT, because these concepts are novel, yes, but they are also truth, and they are also our future. UNICULT is the predominant religion of the future, and I don't know what else to tell you. It's just true. Okay? Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Uni bless. I like that joke, Mitchell. It's funny.